Okay, great. Everybody, welcome to this webinar that you just saw a little intro from the campuses, and one of them, Cremona, is the one that this program is taking place. And yeah, we will go over to the speakers for this webinar about the program Consumer Behavior, the Master in Psychology for Health, Food and Environment from Università Cattolica di Sacro Cuore. And they will be able to pronounce it better than me, by the way. But we will go over to them in just a minute. Just a couple of things to clarify. Well, first of all, I saw people already writing in the chat where they're from. So that's great to see. By all means, thanks to do that. So you can see all the different countries that are joining. And if you have any questions, please write them through the tab called Questions at the right bottom. So that's where you, to make sure that we can answer them. So you can write them at any time. And also for the people that watch the recording, by the way, if you do that, then you can also write your questions still. I will also be opening up a couple of polling questions. I will actually do that right now, just to know a little bit more about you and, for example, what you prefer and is important to you in selecting a university. And last but not least, we have a little fun button as well. So that will be available on the left where you see the button. So that will be enabled right away. So we're going over now, however, without further ado, to the presenters. We are having with us Giulia from Università Cattolica, and she will introduce herself and the rest of the speakers. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you very much. So hello, everybody, and welcome to our new webinar on this consumer behavior master's degree that we teach at Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore. My name is Giulia, and as I said, and Luke already said, I am working at Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore. So today we are going to go over a couple things. So first of all, we're going to meet the speakers. I'm going to give a little bit of an introduction to Università Cattolica, an introduction to the program, an interview with Professor Graffigna as well. And also we are going to meet and talk with Daniel and Burfin, who are current students at our university. We are going to give out a little bit of an application information, and a Q&A session at the end is going to be available for you guys to ask all your questions. So without further ado, I will go over to the speakers. As I said, I am Giulia. I will be moderating this webinar together with Luke. And then I'm going to have Professor Guendalina Graffigna with me, Daniel Fiat Chavez, and Burfin Karman, two students from Costa Rica and Turkey. So we're going to hear a little bit about two different experiences from two different countries of origin. So let's start with us. I always like to start with who we are as a university, because maybe not everybody knows about our university and what happens in here. So Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore is in Italy. It is the largest known state university in Europe, recognized and fully accredited research university. So that means that we are kind of big. We were founded actually not that much time ago in absolute terms, but we do have one more than 100 years of history. We have 5 different campuses and 12 different schools. This means that we host a multitude of students. The overall number of students is more than 40,000 actually, so it is more than that. And we do have more than 5,000 international students as of now. We do offer 40 plus English taught programs at the graduate level only. It's 50 plus if you consider the undergraduate level as well. So big school, many people, many students, many professors. So let's talk about what we are talking about today in particular. So the master's degree in consumer behavior, psychology applied to food, health, and environment. So we are here today to talk about this particular course and discover more about this, because sustainable development and global health goals cannot be achieved by just technological development. The psychologists and the social sciences, which are going to work and are still working and working as of today to change behavior and accept, and work for acceptance of different kinds of changes in behavior and innovation in food and health sciences are going to be crucial, and they are crucial now. They're going to be even more crucial in the next years. So we do want to train a new generation of these professionals, and we are going to talk a little bit more about that with Professor Graffigna as well. I just wanted to have a little introduction about the program itself before going into talking about what happens inside the program with Professor Graffigna. So first of all, it is a program taught in Cremona. It's 2 years. It's entirely taught in English. So absolutely, everybody speaking English can join our masters. If you, we are going to go over the English requirements as well later on. But yes. So what are the 3 key factors that I think are important to know about this program is that, well, first of all, it's a multidisciplinary kind of program because it really fosters collaboration between different schools, between different professionals. Some may be very much experts in food. Some are very much experts in psychology. Some of them may be very good at environmental sciences, and they all work together to ensure that this program is really multidisciplinary. Also, they have a lot. This program in particular has a big focus on research because in the program, we want the students to be able to learn to design and implement research programs. And also, last but not least, I would say that there are tons of career opportunities. Well, there's different ways that you can build a career after this kind of master's degree. We're going to talk about it a little later as well, but there's a wide range of firms, research institutes, nonprofit organizations, educational services. So you really can choose what you would like to go into, and it's really a lot of choice, I would say. Last but not least, we're gonna go over what psychology courses and interdisciplinary courses are like in this program, and actually you see that there's some Well, there's a lot actually of psychology related courses and also interdisciplinary courses where you can find innovation in agri-food systems, human nutrition, consumer health, animal welfare. So you see that the reason why this master's is not just calling itself consumer behavior, but it's also called you know uh, psychology for behavior, environment, and food and health. So everything related to that. These is the reason. So there's definitely a lot of psychology going on, but also there's a lot of interdisciplinarity going on in here. We're gonna hear live from our students, Berfin and Daniel, what this really means and what they really like about this particular approach, which is the One Health approach. If I'm not mistaken, Professor Graffigna, it's it's called One Health approach. So yes, I would say that without further ado, we will definitely go deeper into what this program really is from the real expert, the program coordinator. Um, who is Professor Graffigna again. And thank you very much, Professor, for being here. And are you
Thank
ready to
you.
start with this?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for the kind invitation.
Perfect. Okay. Well, Professor, so I wanted to hear about the story of this program. So, what inspired you to create a master's that connects psychology with food health and the environment?
This program born from the analysis of the unmet challenges that globally we have to face as humanity and in particular as psychologists. And those challenges are related to climate change, to global health pandemics, to sustainability. So basically, we have as human to face these big changes for our future. There is the importance to change the behaviors of individual, community, and organization to reach a much healthier, a better psychological well-being and a better sustainable world. Hard scientists are working very hard to innovate and to find a solution to face those challenges. But we know that those innovation need the support to be communicated, to be supported and translated into people's lives. So, in this sense, we feel that there is a big need of psychology, and in particular of psychologists, experts in decision making, in how people make choices related to their lifestyles, in order to understand what are the needs, what are the preferences, but also the fears, the anxieties of people, in order to better bridge hard scientists and hard science innovation with communities and real people. Those are the scientific elements that inspired the program, but plus, in addition to this, there was also the input from several industries, companies, and also a care organization that inspired us, that asked us to have psychologists able to support them in soft skills and in understanding clients, in understanding patients, in better innovating their services and their processes. So the program was born in this mid between the analysis of the scientific developments in all the different disciplines, soft disciplines and hard disciplines that today require a better multidisciplinary vision to face the One Health challenges, and also from the input from national and international healthcare organization and companies that wanted to have psychologists, but with a boost in their knowledge, not only the classical components of psychology, but a more applied approach to psychology.
Okay, thank you very much. Another question that I have for you is if you could share a concrete example where insights from psychology truly changed the way we look at food or health behaviors in general.
But because, so first of all, nutrition and food is extremely important for our survivance. And more and more, there are diseases that are related to bad habits in how we eat food. I mean, obesity, but I don't know, diabetes, but even cardiovascular diseases or gastrointestinal diseases are very much related to how we eat food and which kind of food we eat. But the problem is not only developing better healthy products, the problem is understanding why people continues to eat in a bad way despite the fact that they have a knowledge about what is good and what is bad. So psychology in nutrition can really unveil the motivation, the emotional aspects related to unhealthy food behaviors. But plus, food behaviors are also related to sustainability. So the same discussion can be done in terms of how to turn our consumption conducts into more sustainable and more conscious behaviors. And also, nutrition is related to society, to social interaction, even to affective interaction, because the way we feed other people that are important for us, it's a way we express our love and our sense of belonging. So, food today is very central in our modernity, wanted or not, because we really depend in our health, physical health, but also in our psychological health from what we eat. And there is a lot of space where we can work with psychology to reshape the choices that people do in order to transform nutrition in a real occasion for psychological well-being. Also, a lot of psychotherapeutic and behavioral change intervention for the aim of a better psychological wellness today start from food and how we eat, because what we eat has also an impact on our brain function. So it is very much related. And also medical science, it is turning to focusing on what we eat and how it is impact on our microbiome, that is in our gastrointestinal health. So it is all related. The science postulate a link between our brain and our gut. So since there is a scientific link to this, we really have to unveil and to manage the psychological elements that in this link play a very important role, and that is related to consciousness, related to choices, to the choices we make when we eat food, when we dispose food, when we manage our health, when we manage our behaviors, and the impact on sustainability.
Okay, thank you very much. I have another question regarding employability. So we were talking about it a little earlier in the presentation, and I wanted to ask you what kind of roles are the most in demand for graduates in this particular subject, and how is this master's degree preparing students for them?
We have a lot of linkages with the international and national companies, both in the food industry and in the care industry. And also we work with the national healthcare system. So basically, the professional outcome can be in industries, in the patient advocacy division for the pharma industry, or in the consumer insight, communication and stakeholder engagement divisions for the food industries. But there are also a lot of foundations, or also patient charity organization, and institutional organization that at the policy making level are seeking for people graduated in psychology with this specific expertise. So the master program has just started. We are now at the third year of edition. So we don't have yet graduated, but the people that are concluding their process are already working in companies. One in pharmaceutical industry, then we have another in um, gaming industry, and another in a research institute already working and applying. And also the students at the second year are starting to have internship offer in the main companies.
Okay, that's as we said, a wide range of possibilities, I would say, and this is definitely an example of how wide the applicability of what you guys are going to study in this degree, particularly, are. So, last question for you, Professor. If you look 5 years ahead, what new challenges do you think professionals in consumer behavior will need to face?
I think also but I think that the challenges would be dictated by the evolution of climate change and also of their care challenges. So I think there will be an increase, unfortunately, of knowledge related to the psychology of behavior at the individual and collective level. And also there is an increase of anxiety related to climate change and the uncertainty with which we are all forced to live in our countries, because we are not able to prevent many climate and disease emergencies. So I think that in the future, as humanity, we will have to be very flexible, because we don't know how our future would be. So the only way would be to be prepared, flexible, and also resilient. And so in this sense, an applied psychology that is for the daily life of people, in particular when emergency come, will be very much important for all the communities.
Okay, it's definitely something that has been changing and it's continuing to change. So absolutely, I agree with you. Of course, I'm not an expert, but I would definitely say that our generation, like millennials on, they are already living with a little bit of anxiety about everything that's going to happen in the next few years with climate change. So absolutely, there is going to be a lot of work to be done in many of the areas that you mentioned. So, thank you very much, Professor, for being with us. And I wanted to go ahead and have a little conversation with students who are in your course right now, Berfin and Daniel. Sorry, Daniel, but ladies go first, usually. So I am going to go with Berfin before, and then I'm going to pass it on to you. But first of all, Berfin, would you like to introduce yourself briefly, where you come from, what's your background?
Hello, I'm Barfin Kahraman and I'm coming from Turkey. And I studied nutrition and dietetics. Also, I studied psychology. Now I'm in Italy to study consumer behavior.
Yep, you are
Yeah.
definitely. I can see you're in Cremona right now, in
Yes.
campus, I guess, right? Okay. So my first question would be about the motivation, that led you to choose this particular program. Why did you choose this master's degree, and what made it stand out compared to other programs that you maybe were considering?
Yeah, I choose this MSc in consumer behavior because it uniquely connects my academic background as a dietitian and psychologist with my growing interest in behavioral change and decision making. Through my work in nutrition, I became fascinated by how people make choices, especially when it comes to habits, motivation, and self-control in diet and health behavior. This program stood out from others because it doesn't focus only on marketing, but explores psychological mechanisms behind behavior, which I can directly apply to fields like health communication, sustainability, consumer well-being. Its interdisciplinary structure allowed me to expand from nutrition into psychology and marketing while staying connected to my patient for understanding and influencing the human behavior.
Yeah, it's definitely something that connects to everything we've said before. So thank you for that. And so you are an international student. As we said, you come from Turkey. And coming from your background, how did you find adapting to an international and multidisciplinary environment in Italy?
With coming from a Mediterranean background in Turkey, adapting to life and study in Italy felt natural because our cultures share similarities, warm communication, strong social values, as people-oriented mentality that made my transition smoother and helped me quickly feel at home here. At the same time, studying in an international environment expanded my perspective even more. I'm surrounded by classmates from many different countries, and working with them has made me appreciate how culture shapes consumer behavior and ethical values. I really enjoy exchanging views and learning how people from different backgrounds approach the same issues from completely different angles.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about having many people from many different countries in the house. So yes, absolutely. And well, I have another question. It's going to be a little bit of a last question before we go over to Daniel. But what's one skill or mindset that you developed here and that you didn't expect to gain?
I developed here that I didn't expect is resilience and independence. Because living and studying abroad pushed me outside my comfort zone. I had to solve problems on my own and manage my time and handle daily responsibilities without relying on family support. In a way, I discovered that I am stronger than I thought. And I didn't just survive here, I learned how to build a life on my own, stay motivated, and push through challenges with confidence. That mindset will stay with me for beyond this program, I think.
Yeah, and as a former international student myself, I have to say this is definitely something that stays with you. However, whatever the program you're going to choose, it does really stay with you, and navigating visas, navigating permits of stay, having new friends, getting to know the city that you're living in, and like living in the city and visiting them are totally different things. We're going to talk about Cremona in a while, but yeah, it's definitely something that stays with you no matter what you study. So yes, absolutely. Daniel, I'm going to pass it out to you. And I wanted to ask you, what was your first impression of the program and also of Cremona when you started?
Hi everybody, my name is Daniel. It's a pleasure to be here. So my first impression of the program was really positive. I was impressed by how complete and well structured it was. I already had an idea of what the degree was going to teach, of course, but once I started, I saw that it went far beyond my expectations. I know that it was really focused on the market and market research. That it's something that I really liked specifically, but I also love the focus that it has in everything regarding health promotions. During the courses, the discussions that we have regarding vaccination and everything that happened in the pandemic have been one of my favorite parts of the program. And regarding Cremona, especially, I think has like a really sweet value, especially for me. It's a small city, but that makes it uh, has its charms in some ways. You know, almost everybody that is there. If you go out, you will definitely find out somebody that you meet, and you will say hello. So that's also something that is really, really positive for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Cremona is, I would say, a hidden gem of the Italian northern cities. And actually, I forgot to ask you, but what is your background, Daniel? Where do you come from? And what did you study before coming here?
So I'm from Costa Rica. My background, well, I first studied psychology in Costa Rica. I worked in recruitment specifically. I didn't like it that much. Then I took an MBA in a business school in Barcelona, in which I focused a little bit more about how a market was one of the things that was mainly my focus. And then I decided to take this master right now.
Okay, so we have a psychologist as a as a background who decided just psychology and recruitment itself wasn't actually what he wanted to do, and that's interesting because there might be some of you guys who are listening to this webinar who may be thinking about that as well. Maybe you're not. You're exploring because traditional career in psychology is not always the right choice for everybody. So thank you very much, Daniel. Another one that I wanted to ask you is outside the classroom, what has been the most rewarding part of your experience as a student in this master's degree?
So I know it might sound a bit cliche, but definitely the friendships and the people that I've met is the most rewarding part from my stay in the further country. Meeting people from different cultures has been incredible. I often tell my friends that many people that I've met here, probably I wouldn't met him in any other context. I probably wouldn't connect in the way that we connected here. But because we are in the same country doing the same experience, it makes our experience more bonding, and it's been amazing, the friendships and the people that I met. That's something that I found really amazing from this experience, and something that I wouldn't change for anything.
Yeah, the people is always the best. I mean, the fact is you're a little biased because you're a psychologist, guys. So of course you like people, you like listening to people. But yeah, absolutely, that's really interesting. So Daniel, I have one last question for you. What was the biggest academic challenge for you, and how did the faculty or your peer students help you overcome it?
So for me, definitely the biggest academic challenge is getting used to the oral exams. I don't know if people from other countries are aware of this, but it's like a really common practice here. Most of the evaluations after the course are oral exams. So at first it was quite intimidating, thinking about being in front of a professor, trying to answer any questions on the spot. But thankfully, my Italian classmates were super helpful. They shared tips about how to prepare, how to connect ideas of concepts while you are in that situation. And I also have to say that the professors are quite understanding too about that. They know that you are not used to this type of practices, so they also make an environment that it's more easy going for us international students when we are doing this evaluation process.
Thank you, Daniel. And actually, I'll take it from there and tell you guys that the one thing that is really, peculiar about the Italian system, I'd say, maybe compared to other systems that you're more acquainted with, is that it is really an independent system in the sense that you have to take your exams, but they're not going to tell you when and where and how to study. So basically, you know that on this date, there's going to be a first chance to take the exam. There's going to be multiple chances, actually, but you have to decide when to take the exam. So you have to decide when to study, you have to decide when to start, when to take all of your exams, because usually after the semester you have an exam, two, three, four exams. It depends on the course, of course. But yeah, that really triggers independence. But it's something that usually, as Daniel rightly pointed out, some of our international students are not used to, and oral exams are a big part of the Italian university system as well. And actually, as an Italian, I take it for granted that everybody takes oral exams, but no, it is not exactly true. Not everybody takes oral exams. So yes, it is a very important part. I would say, especially if you want to become psychologists, because you have to talk to people. So you have to get used to, having conversations, even uncomfortable conversations. So yeah, thank you, Daniel, for pointing it out. And actually, thank you both for sharing your experience and sharing what the master's has been about for you. Actually, I forgot to introduce the fact that you're on the second year of this master's. So you survived the first year as an international student, with all the challenges and everything that goes through it. I'm proud of you, because actually I met Berfin last year as well. So I'm proud of you for making it this far, and I can't wait to see what happens next when you graduate. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing your experience. So I would say that we can go on with our presentation to give you a little bit of a background as to how to apply, when to apply, the entry requirements, and everything that goes with choosing when and how to apply to a master's degree. So the applications are going to be open in mid-November 2025. So they are actually not open yet. So you cannot apply as of now, but you will be able to apply very soon, in a month or so. And actually, the application deadline would be the start of May and mid-June 2026, depending on whether you are a non-EU student or a EU student. Um, why does it change? It changes because, unfortunately, non-EU students need visas. Um, they need visas in order to study in Italy. So, of course, um, you know, uh, it's there is a minimum time that you need to set apart in order to make it be able to get a visa before getting to Italy. So the tuition fee, I would go with this as a second topic on this slide. So usually for EU students with income less than 115,000 euros, the tuition fee would be 6,850 euros. But also there is a tuition fee specifically for non-EU students, and the non-EU students fee would be 9,370 euros. But you can request an international scholarship given out by Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore. Usually it brings the value of the scholarship down to 6,400 euros. So that's definitely something to take into account. What about the entry requirements? So of course, you have to finish your undergraduate degree, and you have to finish it from an accredited institution. Um, and you have to obtain the final diploma, final degree before the 31st of July 2026. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to make it in our master's degree. there's going to be a proficiency level of English required. That is because everything is taught in English. We have already said that at the beginning, but I want to rightly point it out again that everything is English taught. So we are going to be requiring a B2 level minimum. And we do have a list of what kind of certificates we accept on our website. And if I am not mistaken, my colleague Federica has sent out the link to find all the information about entry requirements and application procedures on the chat. So you are welcome to open the link and go look at it. Regarding entry requirements, one important thing that I would say is that usually we require a bachelor in psychology or a related subject. By related subject, we mean that it can also be a degree which deviates from psychology a bit, but it has to have at least 120 ECTS credits given in the field of psychology. So if you have less than them, unfortunately, it's not going to be possible for you to get into this program. But 120 ECTS, they have to be the minimum for that. I would
If we
say,
can say something
absolutely.
here, a good news is that we are planning also a program that could be of supplement for people willing to participate but needs to recover the missing credits. So we were discussing exactly today with the dean. So the university is taking care of offering some additional trainings for people that may be interested in recovering the credits.
Oh, that is a very interesting news. Actually, we are going to be waiting
Yeah,
on
this
the
is
official.
something we are working on, but just to tell that if someone is particularly interested and maybe doesn't reach the 120 credits in psychology, we can have a dedicated conversation because the university is seeking to find a solution to offer integrative courses.
That is very interesting, and we're gonna have a conversation about this, I guess, in the next future. I'm very happy actually to hear this new because a lot of students maybe are not exactly on the 120, but they are actually going to have most of their credits in psychology. So it's very interesting for us to know. So thank you very much, Professor, for adding this to the information that we are going to give to our students. So I think that it is question time, right? Luke, can you help us with that?
I think so. So we already received some questions, so we're going over to those. I just want to highlight also for the people that watch the recording, because I do know that a lot of people do these days. We're all busy, and there's actually also people from different time zones. So if you're watching the recording, you can actually also still participate in all the interactive options. So you can answer the polls that we have sent out. There's another poll coming up, by the way, and also you can still write your questions. We will send them through then to the staff of Università Cattolica. All right. Question from Alexandra was that asking, does it also include law related to this program? Is that a part taken care of?
Yeah, I can answer this. Yes, indeed, the law component and policy can be chosen as optional class that is offered by other faculties in agricultural and in law, but since there is room for one extra and that choice class, students can take the food law or economics policy class. I'm not hearing anymore.
Oh yes, sorry, I was on mute. Made that mistake. Well, I was saying just thank you for that, and I saw the thumbs up coming, so I think that was taking care of the question. Another question from Alexander: is there an option to do part online? And I saw this question by some more people who registered.
Not yet. So the program is an in-person program. Then actually we record the lessons, and so there are video records of the lessons that are available for students for a couple of weeks after the lesson. But we really believe in the experiential learning that we offer during the program. The class is a small class with a small number of students, and this helps us professors in engaging with students very much. All the lessons are very practical with a lot of project works as exercises, but also allowing students to critically think and discuss with us. And also there are company visits and there are challenges, competition with the students. Another element that is very important for us is to melt a little bit our psychological class with students from the other faculties that are hosted in the campus, that comes from business, law, and food technology. And so some classes are taken by all the students, and the multidisciplinarity of the class is another very inspiring training tool. So it is to say that in our philosophy, it is very physical, very face-to-face and experience-based, the learning, even though then we support students that for a period of time cannot attend because they can have the records.
Okay, great, thank you. Question from Wahidi: are credit transfers possible or not?
Yes, of course. So we can assess. So the as we said, we need to assess the number of credits in psychology that are acquired. So on the basis of this, we assess the credits, and we can recognize the credits.
Yeah, let me add to this because I think it's important to know about this one, particularly the procedure to ask for a credit transfer is the same procedure as applying for as a first-time student. The professors are actually gonna look at all your records. So definitely, if you have some credits already and you want them to be recognized, you can ask for that, but usually you have to do it during the application period, and it's going to be the same kind of application as any other student. They are going to give you an answer, but it's usually also given out at the same time as other students. So if you want to transfer from a second year, maybe, so if you want to transfer to the second year directly, you are going to be asked to transfer to apply as a first year student. Then they're going to assess what happened in your curriculum for studying, and then after that you're going to be given out an answer as to whether you can move into that particular second year, or if you have to stay in the first year and maybe have just a little bit of credits recognized. So it really depends, because usually transfers are asked to go directly into the second year, but sometimes it happens that you can do it, sometimes it happens that you cannot. So it really depends on the singular case.
Okay. Great, thank you. Hope that answered that question. The next question from Jurinak, if I say that right. I want to know about the available scholarships. So we did talk about the pricing a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, so as we said, we have the international scholarship offered by Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore, so our university, for non-EU students, which usually cuts the price of each year to 6,400 euros. Alternatively, we do have some other scholarships which are administered by Educat, which is our institution, which is part of our university that takes care of everything related to student services. So there's going to have some scholarships with Educat, but you have to go on the Educat website itself to make yourself aware what happens, because every year is different. Sometimes they have more funds, sometimes they have less funds, and usually they give out scholarships on the basis of merit and income. So they have to check your income, they have to check your curriculum, they have to check where your credits, where your transcripts, etc., etc. That takes a little bit of time. So just to set expectations on that, there are scholarships available through Educat usually, but the answer to these particular scholarships are going to be coming a little later in the year. They're not going to be able to come before the beginning of the classes. So you're probably going to be expected to pay the full price and then maybe take it out of the full price. That's something that I wanted to make you aware of.
Yeah, we just got a reply actually also about that. Jurinak asked how to apply for your scholarship though. So how do they apply?
In that particular case, you just have to tick a box when you apply. It's an easy one. Yes, you have to tick a box, and they're gonna check if you qualify or not. And by they, I mean our international admissions office, of course.
Yeah, great. Thank you. And let's see, we have the next question from Vahidi. So where's the location of the university? Maybe just to clarify.
Yeah, well, we have 5 different campuses actually, so I understand why it causes a little of a confusion when you look at our website. But this particular degree is taught in Cremona, as we said. We were talking about Cremona as a city as well. So this particular degree is taught in Cremona. It's one of our, I would say, it's our newest campus, if I'm not mistaken, to a completely renovated monastery actually. So it's really, really nice to see as well. I actually went there a couple of months ago and actually met Professor Graffigna as well there. And it's beautiful. The cloisters are amazing. Everything is super new and super old at the same time. So yeah, Cremona's campus is very nice.
Great. Good to hear. Thank you. And let's see. Yeah, so Jurinak had another question. Is there any entrance exam before enrolling?
No, actually, right, Professor Graffigna? I think there's just gonna be like an assessment at the beginning, but it's not an exam.
There's an assessment of your previous curriculum, your motivational letter, and that's it.
Perfect. Hope that clarifies that. So thanks otherwise to let us know. And yes, we're getting thumbs up. So let's see, Kalinsiuk, I don't know if I say that right, but there's a question. Does the program also cover psychoanalysis?
Yeah, there is a class, there is a course in clinical psychology. So psychoanalysis, so it's not, in Italy, let's clarify this. In Italy, after the degree in psychology, you can become a professional psychologist. And in particular, the good news is that also this master program is professionalizing. So this means that in the program, we also need to offer 250 hours of training as a psychologist. So when you graduate, you also do a final exam that will habilitate you to be a professional psychologist in Italy. But in Italy, to then become a psychotherapist, and psychoanalysis is one possible branch of psychotherapy, you need to do a specialization of 4 years. So in the master level, it is possible. So there is a class in clinical psychology and lifestyle where also some elements of clinical psychology and psychoanalysis are covered, but as a theoretical components. And in particular, there is a big focus on mindfulness and some also integrated approaches in clinical psychology approaches for behavioral change. So yes, as a content, something is covered, because also in our consumer behavior approach, we cover psychoanalysis because motivational research was one of the components. But I repeat, this is the basis, theoretical basis for a basic psychological practice. Then in Italy, psychoanalysis is a 4-year specialization for psychotherapy.
Yeah, it's very important to clarify that. I think because every country has its own peculiarities when it comes to psychologists and
Yeah,
psychotherapists.
but I mean, from the scientific perspective, yes, this is covered because psychodynamics is one of the root of our modern psychology, and we use it to understand behaviors both in consumption and in unhealthy behaviors and in the clinical psychology sector. So we cover this as a theoretical and methodological aspect. But then we have a very clear focus that psychoanalysis is a psychotherapeutic approach that comes after the degree.
You're mute again.
Thank you for clarifying that, and also for the detailed answer. I think that was very useful. In the meantime, actually, I put up another poll. So just checking in what kind of information people are still looking for, just as a last point. Actually, let's see. Yeah, I think the questions were all answered. So
probably there is one: how to apply for scholarship. Is the last one.
Yeah, I think that was covered. What
Yeah.
Julia talked about, right? About the two options, and yeah, then just ticking the box for the one of Universidad Católica. Well, thank you. So let us know your feedback from the poll. At this point, the winning points for the information people look for are still cost of living, closely to housing, but let's take cost of living. Maybe the students, can they briefly say
I
something
can do
about
that
that?
as
Or
well.
you
I
can do
can
that.
do so.
All right.
Yeah, I can do something as well about this.
Go ahead.
I get asked. No, I get asked this, of course, a lot. So usually, of course, it really depends on your lifestyle. Because if you're used to being like alone by yourself, living in a nice flat in the center of the city and everything, and going out for dinner every day, of course, it's gonna be costing you a lot of money. But in terms of accommodation, there is a good news actually, because Cremona is definitely cheaper than Milan and Rome and all the other major cities that students usually go study at. So absolutely, it is cheaper to study in Cremona than it is to study in other cities. Um, as an indication, usually we would say that if to cover basic expenses for a year, you would probably need around 12,000 euros a year. Basics would be, of course, accommodation, food, transportation, a little bit of fun if you want to have some, but maybe you don't not, and so of course you do want to have fun. But yeah, roughly that's our indication. But of course it really depends on what you want to do, and what you are used to, because again, if you are renting a room with a roommate, it's probably going to be a lot cheaper than renting a room like a single room, but it also can be a lot more costly if you want to rent like a one house just for you. So it really depends on you, but the bottom line, I would say, yeah, it's around 12,000 euros per year.
Okay, thank you. Hope that answered that question and gave you some good insights. All right. So yeah, I was kindly informed that there was indeed one more question in the chat. That's why I missed it. From Sanjay asking about an age limit to enter the program. Is there any?
No, it's not. And I can also tell you the experience of this new academical year, when indeed we have a new student that is older than the average student, but I think she is integrated in the group very well. She's integrating very well. She came from Ireland, and she worked for several years. But after several years, she wanted to take a couple of years dedicated to renovate her skills and to focus on those topics. But so it is perfectly good for us, and for also more grew up students come, because it's a very professional approach of teaching, and also in the class we work very much together, and so there are plenty of opportunities to share experiences that come from different countries, that come from different pathways in life. So for us, there are no limits.
Thank you very much. Also, I want to clarify that the international admissions team is looking after you. So if you're not like the normal average student, but you are very, very motivated and everything, they're gonna see what they can do for you before rejecting you just because of age. And Professor Graffigna rightly pointed out that there have been exceptions, but usually, just for your own comfort, usually our average student is 26, like 26, 27 maximum. From 22, they come from 22 to 26, 27. So you have to expect that the majority of the classroom is going to be around that age, just to set expectations. Other than that, Professor Graffigna pointed out that it really depends on everything else as well.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, all of you. And I think with that, we can conclude the webinar.
Yep.
There are no more questions. I have one last poll before we jump over to the last slide I see. So we'll put it up. There's just the feedback of how you think was the session. So let us know your feedback. If you felt it was a great session, or any constructive feedback you may have, just let us know. So we gladly hear, of course, your input, because we want to make sure that it serves what you're looking for. And yeah, the contact details are on the screen. I think with that, maybe you can round off, Julia, the session and mention that.
Yep, absolutely. So as I said, we are here to help you. All of us are, but especially our team, the International Marketing and Recruitment team, is eager to help you choose your next step in your career path and in your study journey. So if you have any questions, anything that we have not covered, if you're having any doubts on application procedures, etc., just shoot us an email at international.inquiry unicat.it. We do answer. It might take us a little bit, but we do answer usually in 2 to 3 days. The website is also a very big source of updated information. I take care of the website myself, so together with my colleagues from an international admissions office. So we make sure that everything is updated. We are going to be updating the dates when we open applications very soon. And also the rest of the sections are going to be updated accordingly. If you want to follow us, we do have an Instagram account, and last but not least, we do have a phone number if you want to call us. That's going to be the last one.
Can I just add, in terms of
Yes.
the account, we also have an Instagram page dedicated to the program that is consumer behavior. So you can find, or probably the students can be more precise than me. We have both an Instagram and a LinkedIn page, and they really advise you to check, because you can find a very nice reels from the students and the professors, and so you can have some more experience of what we teach there and how is the life there. So if maybe Berfin can repeat what is the link. Yeah, she's gonna. You are on mute. Just probably she's writing it.
Okay for it. I think I found it actually. So I will put it in the chat.
Yeah, thank you. Because and this is a page that is unique because it's all managed by the students, for the students. So we don't do nothing apart from being interviewed by them.
Perfect. So it should be there one in the chat. And yes, thank you. Good for pointing that out. And thanks everyone for having joined. Also, the students, Danielle, Bervin, thank you very much for making time available. And of course, the professor, Guendalina, and Julia. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon and good evening to everyone else.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.